A moment of clarity in the misty language of the future of interest rates.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive. Progressive Commercial Insurance protects small businesses with customizable coverage options as unique as your business. More at progressivecommercial.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. The Federal Reserve is fixing to cut interest rates, and we don't even have to use infrared night vision goggles to discern the central bank's intentions. On Friday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell came out and just said it. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has more on what could come next.
Fed Chair Powell was speaking at the Kansas City Fed's annual Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday. He didn't say when the Fed would start cutting rates. He didn't say by how much, but his message was clear.
The time has come for policy to adjust. The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
There will be a lot of data over the next couple of weeks. This Friday, we get the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, or PCE, for July. It measures monthly changes in prices, and it's the Fed's favorite inflation measure. A week later, the Labor Department releases the August jobs report. The Fed is hoping an interest rate cut would give the economy just enough gas to grow, keeping unemployment low without inflation getting out of hand. The Fed's next meeting on interest rates starts September 17th, so any rate cut would come just before the presidential election. Chair Powell insists the Fed doesn't pay attention to politics. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
The 10-year interest rate is below 3.8% right now, close to its lows of the year. Makes sense given what Nancy was just saying. S&P and NASDAQ futures are both up 0.2% now. If that holds for the S&P in regular trading later on, it would push the S&P back into record high territory. Updated COVID vaccines have been approved by the FDA as the mutating virus keeps at it. While these vaccines continue to be free for people with insurance, uninsured adults usually will have to pay since the federal program is winding down. Marketplace's Elizabeth Troval has more.
The CDC's Bridge Access program that gave free COVID-19 vaccines to uninsured adults ends at the end of this month. It vaccinated 1.5 million people over the past year, the CDC told Marketplace in a statement.
Now, uninsured individuals no longer have that guaranteed source or access to free vaccines.
Jennifer Tolbert is with Health Policy Research Group, KFF. She says for some, the $100 or more for a vaccine may be too high a price.
Lower income uninsured individuals, which by and large are the majority of people who are uninsured, are at the greatest risk for deciding to forego getting vaccinated because of the costs they are likely to face.
Roughly 11% of non-elderly adults in the U.S. are uninsured, according to KFF, concentrated in states that haven't expanded Medicaid, like Texas and Florida. I'm Elizabeth Troval for Marketplace.
And one more number, the Wall Street Journal today estimates that about 1 million people have had their careers knocked off track by long COVID, the poorly understood condition where the virus produces persistent, debilitating symptoms. You can ghost your boss nights and weekends. It is the law in Australia starting today. Under that country's right to disconnect law, Australians can no longer be punished for not responding to work emails or calls from work after hours. A 2023 survey finds the average Australian works more than 280 hours a year of unpaid overtime. That's close to 3 unpaid days a month. An Australian industry group says the law is vague and will slow the economy. The decision to not respond has to be reasonable under the new law.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by OneStream, the enterprise finance platform that unifies financial and operational data using the power of AI, helping businesses forecast faster and more accurately at onestream.com.
Every week, the government counts up and publishes the number of people who have just signed up for state unemployment benefits, plus the total number already in the system. The report from last week showed 1.8 million people already drawing unemployment. Now, what doesn't help folks looking for work is when they apply for what turn out to be ghost jobs. Marketplace's Kimberly Adams explains.
When you apply for unemployment insurance for the first time, you're counted in the initial claims for unemployment. But if you keep applying in the weeks after, you end up in the insured unemployment data set, commonly referred to as continuing claims for unemployment. And it's not a great place to be.
A barren desert wasteland is the best way I can describe it.
Ryan Coleman is an IT worker in Minneapolis who's been out of work for 11 months. He estimates he's put in more than 1,000 applications at this point, only had 5 interviews, and no real prospects. He's pretty sure a lot of those jobs he applied for weren't even real, like one he saw last week.
A local manufacturer here in the Twin Cities that was looking for an IT technician. They have posted this job every month for the last 3 months, at least.
He applied, got rejected, and then
7 hours later, I'm on one of the job boards and the job has posted brand new, the exact same job, word for word.
Coleman's frustrations are shared by a lot of job seekers these days, says Lisa Simon, chief economist at Revelio Labs, a workforce data company that's been tracking ghost jobs.
Their prevalence has just grown dramatically over the past 5 years.
These are positions that stay up for months at a time without a hire, as companies seek to stockpile resumes, pan for the occasional gold nugget, or send a message to existing employees.
So while in 2020, for every, say, 10 job postings, there would be 8 hires being made eventually. Now the number is down to 4 in 10 jobs result in a hire, which is a super dramatic drop.
There are ways job seekers can spot a potentially fake posting, says Stacey Haller, chief career advisor for ResumeBuilder.com.
The first thing I would do is look at the date of the job posting.
Haller says if the job's been up for months, that may be a red flag.
And if you see a job posting on a job board, the very best thing to do is to go to the company's website and see if that job is also listed on their career page.
And, says Haller, you can always reach out directly to HR at the prospect company to ask them if that dream job is real. In Washington, I'm Kimberly Adams for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm David Brancaccio. You're listening to the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.
And you can check in at 4:30 this afternoon for